Can you ever imagine the variation you see right now is actually a joseki? Hi guys, I'm Leo, American 7-dan player. Today we are going to introduce a joseki that you can never find in any gold textbook. This is a tricky way to respond to the two-space approach. You have to be careful when your opponents play the two-space lower approach. AS recommendation to respond to this is to play the nice move. But Black will probably choose to push and cut. And this shape is definitely going to result in complicated variations. And there are many traps behind those variations. If you want to simply avoid those traps, the best way is probably just not to play the nice move. Nowadays, many players choose to play the two-space jump or to play this move to avoid complicated variations. But if you play something like this, your opponent can hardly make any huge mistakes. For example, if your opponent just responds like this, Black cannot lose anything. And if you play this move, there are actually some traps. For example, Black can immediately play here, right now, or to play here. It looks very weird, right? But those moves are actually playable. So today we are going to introduce a way that can not only avoid the traps, but also increase the possibility that your opponents make mistake. That's the three-space jump. Wow, this is cool, right? Let's see what if Black choose to separate those two stones. For example, play here. White can honey, Black extend, White play here, Black play the tiger mouse. White play the tiger mouse. And right now, the situation becomes awkward for Black. If Black try to continually separate these two groups, Black will honey, but White can cut. If Black extend, White can play the tiger mouse. This fight is actually good for White. If Black choose to play the two-space extension, White can first play the tiger mouse, and then choose this shoulder head. White have a beautiful shape, while Black stones feel pressure. This variation is slightly good for White. Then what if Black choose to play the nice move? White can simply attach. If Black honey, White can play the tiger mouse. If Black choose to block, White can atari and capture this stone. This variation is slightly good for White. White get a corner and the center. Black's influence is not that valuable. So the best way for Black right now is to play the atari, which is weird. And it will result in a fight, but not an uncontrollable fight. And counterintuitively, this is an even variation. The best way for Black to play right now is simply play the two-space extension. White will play this move, which looks very aggressive, right? But this is the best way. If Black chooses to honey, White can first play the nice move here. If Black chooses to block, White can play the nose. This variation is even. Black can also choose to play the tiger mouse. White save the stone, and if Black plays something like this, later White can push and climb, which make Black feel very uncomfortable. This variation is also even. Let's say what if Black choose to honey? White can cut, Black atari, and choose to block. White turn, Black extend. For now, Black cannot just simply play this atari, because Black can extend. White play here, Black can honey. And if White choose to kill these two stones, Black can atari. And this is definitely good for Black. So the best way is to play the nice move here, which is a great move. If Black chooses to block, then White chooses to atari. This is good for White, because for now, there's no obvious way for Black to kill White's group right now. The best way for Black is to turn. White atari and push. this is an even variation. And black can also choose to play the diagonal move here. White will also play the diagonal move, and white choose to connect in a fancy way, and black play here. This variation is also even. It's risky for black to choose to attack white right now, because white can first make this exchange, and then play this fancy diagonal move here. Of course, black cannot extend, white will play the tiger mouse, and black's shape collapse. So black have to connect. Then white play the tiger mouse. Black have to cut if black want to continue attack. White can first atali and then diagonal. Looks weird, right? But this is good for white. Right now, black has 3 groups to handle, while white only have 2. This fight is good for white. The variation I'm not recommending is to play the diagonal move here, because white can diagonal, and if black choose to jump, this peak is annoying. If black choose to connect, white will honey, and actually AI's recommendation for black right now is to play the extension. Still, this is good for white. If black choose to block, then white can atali and try to attack black stone. This is good for white, because white have a very beautiful shape, while black is relatively low efficient. Well, let's say if you are black and your opponent played a 3-space jump, is there a way that can still lead to a complicated fight? Probably yes, by playing this move. This is a very tricky move. White's intuition may choose to fight, but this is not the best way. Black can push, white block, black cut. White play here and black jump. This shape is actually looks familiar. I guess you guys may see this variation. White play a nice move, black push, white block, black cut. White extend, black push one more, and white may choose to extend or jump. But right now, white choose to honey, and then black jump. This exchange is definitely good for black, because still white have a weakness right here, and this is severe. White may fix it immediately, while black's jump actually surround the 2 stones right here. White may be killed by playing here, so this is good for black. What if white choose to honey? Black can honey, white atali, black extend, white play here. And this would result in a complicated fight. This variation is almost even, and it's very complicated, which is what black wanted. So for white, if there's a way that can avoid the complicated variation when black play here, yes, actually there is. White can first honey. If black honey, white play the nice move. Wow, this is tricky. This honey exchange is actually good for white because black's shape get weaker. For now, black cannot push. And if black choose to, let's say, capture these stones, white can simply honey. And if black choose to capture, then black is low efficient. But if black choose to play, let's say, somewhere else, then this diagonal move is annoying. Because if you play the tiger mouse, then white can get a corner. But if you play something like this, white can atali here, black collapse. The best way for black to respond to this variation is simply honey. White choose to connect. If black push, white push. Black extend, white honey. After making the honey and connect exchange, white become heavier. So this exchange is good for black. Then black can push right here and results in this variation. And that's all for today. And I guess you guys may have many questions about this variation. Just feel free to comment. I will respond to these questions in the future. I'm Leo, American 7 player. See you next time.